Hello and welcome to our show. The show is The Talk with Tariro. Today on the program, we are trying to go against the norm, where as women on the panel today, it's just us as two women, but really to challenge ourselves when we're talking about the positions that we occupy, both be it at work, in the corporate world, in the media field. And today, what prompted me to actually want to focus on this particular episode is the fact that recently SASA Project held media awards, which were for Southern region as well as Harare region. I was privileged enough to actually be part of the award ceremony. And surprisingly, 4 awards were up for grabs, and 3 of those went to men. And we're talking about issues of gender representation, issues of gender-based violence. And I also heard in the southern region where I wasn't, the situation was the same. So I also want to find out. I have Rotina here on the program. She is the Advocacy and Communications Officer. That's Rotina Mafume Musara. Rotina, what I want to start finding out from you, could you give us the background to the awards where, yes, you are looking at the coverage of gender-based violence issues, you are looking at harmful practices, as well as sexual and reproductive health rights issues, having men taking those awards, leading the pack. What's your interpretation of that whole scenario?
Thank you very much, Tari. First of all, I want to congratulate the winners of the awards. It was really a momentous event for us and an exciting one as well, especially when we are looking at the representation of gender-based violence cases and sexual and gender-based violence cases in particular. So yes, this time the men, most of the men grabbed the awards, which is actually very encouraging that men are reporting on these cases, which is quite a positive move. And of course, a thing of uncomfortability always comes through. You want women to win this, and unfortunately, I was not in the judges' panel, but you were just wishing more women could have come forward, more women could have reported on this and won the awards. Why? Because we are looking at recognizing women and pushing women forward. And like what you have hinted to already, in the corporate world, in every sphere, we find that men are still a little bit ahead of women. And this is because as women, sometimes we don't want to grab these opportunities. We don't want to go into the forefront. We don't want to challenge the dominant stereotypes that exist in our societies. But we are saying as women, let's push ourselves forward. Let's be at the forefront of reporting, especially pertinent issues that relate to our everyday life, the things that are coming to us almost on a very daily basis, and which are coming again from a long history of patriarchy, and we want to challenge that. So it would be great to see more women coming up, taking the forefront of reporting on cases of gender-based violence. Well, I'll zero in on what we were really looking at in these awards. So we were saying, we have reporters, we have journalists, we have both attached to media houses and independent journalists. And we are saying, how are they reporting cases of GBV? As you understand, Aunt Tari, the media plays a pivotal role in shaping how the society thinks and how the society views a certain phenomenon. And we are saying, how are they representing women? When they are talking about gender-based violence, are they shaming the women? Are they ridiculing the victim? Are they portraying women as weak, women as not having a voice, or otherwise the media is blaming the women? Because when you are a media reporter and you're reporting that a woman was raped, and then you continue to go on saying she was wearing a miniskirt, she had gone to the football pitch alone as a woman. Already you are creating a certain narrative. You are otherizing the survivor. And we are saying, as the media, we want to call upon the media to shape the dominant ways of thinking, to give power, to give voice to the survivor, so that the victim is not excluded in the narrative of gender-based violence, because she is the voice that we want to hear.
That's quite thought-provoking. And you are saying, as women, we actually need to push ourselves forward. And like I said, yes, as an institution, you look at issues of women, you look at issues of gender. And really, Beijing came and went. That was 1985. So really today, Rotina, I want to be a devil's advocate as much as I am a woman. When you're talking about let's push ourselves forward, are we doing enough as women? Because half the time we always talk about that, but are we pushing ourselves enough?
We would do better. We are trying, and Tari, I want to also play the devil's advocate. You know that we are coming from a history of patriarchy. We are coming from a history of the woman's silent voice as the voice that we need to hear. And when I say that, as a woman shouldn't talk that much. A woman shouldn't be aggressive that much. A woman shouldn't be up there, you know. This is why even at the CEO's round table, someone expects you to pour tea into their cup. As a woman, you have ascribed roles that people in the society thinks you should always take.
Why should I accept to pour a cup of tea for somebody? Sometimes we are occupying the same position and I'm expected to pour a cup of tea for somebody.
Exactly. So we need women who are saying enough is enough. I know my position. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know how to push myself forward. Against all odds, we should have women coming forward, taking that center stage. The intelligence that they have should be up there for everyone to see.
Well, she's saying we need women who can say enough is enough. And I'm saying, are we even getting to that point where we are saying as women, enough is enough? I know day in, day out, we are always crying for positions. If we go into the political sphere, we are always crying, our numbers are not enough, we are not meeting the quota system. Are we putting ourselves? Do we want to get positions where you are appointed? I don't know how the president then appoints those ones. I don't know, they call it the quota system or whatever, where you then have to come in there. But when it comes to the playing field where we are saying, let's go into a constituency, I'm standing in with the men, articulating my position, articulating what I can offer as a woman. Am I competitive enough to my other gender? I said today I'm going to be playing a devil's advocate. And I know a number of women might actually roast me for this. But this episode, we are really challenging us as women. Are we doing enough? Join us after the break. We're continuing with our discussion, where today we are talking about our position as women, representation of women. And this emanated from the recent Gender and Media Awards that were held. And we saw men ruling the roost there, taking the bulk of the awards. And I just thought, as women, are we competitive enough? Yes, we always say we are competitive enough, but definitely when I'm looking at it, the adjudicators in the process of looking at the articles, and definitely those who won deserved to win. You know, Rotina, as women, when we meet in our groupings, wherever we are, women's conferences, there is this song that we like to sing, "Around the corner, women are coming," and we're threatening around the corner. And I remember one female legislator challenging women to say, I actually don't want to hear us continuously singing that song. Why are we still around the corner 20 years down the line? Why aren't we in that ring? Can we continue saying around the corner women are coming? Yes, we are talking about patriarchy, but how many years? How do we get to a point where we are saying we are going into that ring, and that PhD, pull her down syndrome, has to go? As women, we want to go up there.
Thank you very much. And indeed, the time has come for us to leave the corner and be in the center stage, be in the ring as women. I think it goes on to recognize the power that us as women, as a collective, can have over any form. I mean, when you look at women, the process of giving birth is quite as strong as anything else. And we're saying, as women, we do have the power within that has to be unleashed. Hey? So until we unleash the power within and the power that we have as women, we then begin to realize that we can actually achieve more as a collective than as individuals. And I want to challenge women and saying, even in the fight against gender-based violence, it's about collectively coming together, collectively recognizing the power that lies within us, collectively accepting that we do indeed have that power. Forget the history that has happened. Yes, we take some learnings in there, but those learnings that we have taken over the years are the same learnings that we should take now, and we should take the center stage. And it won't happen with an older generation, but we are saying we are bringing everybody on board. From the girl child that is suckling on our breasts, she should be able to be taught the power within, the power of leadership, the power of taking executive positions, the power of taking even the highest office in any country. We are capable of doing that.
I like the fact that you said we need to unleash the power within, and the issue of working as a collective. Because when it comes, even, I want to go back to issues of politics. You know, women are more than men. But when it comes now to voting, when it's Rotina and John there, for me, I'll go for John, because Rotina, then she'll rise up. I start feeling even this element of jealous, why are we failing to work as a collective? Has any of the CSO, particularly those who are working on women's issues, delved deeply into those issues? We are getting tired of continuously looking at these issues. And for me, really, I'm looking at a situation where we want to get to. That 50-50 has to be there, or even we occupy even higher positions, 60-40, and 60 is women. Why are we failing? You know, I'm one person who was even against that quota system when it comes to university, because my degree then becomes like, it's trivialized, because I'm told you went in because you're a woman, so you had to go in with 2 points. Yet the men that you're competing with has 10 points. So it might mean that you got a degree. It was a favor for you, really. Do we want to continue? Is there something that's lacking that we cannot compete or be at par with our male counterparts?
It's all about us pushing, like what I've said, us pushing the dominant thinking that is in our society, us challenging the hegemonic masculinities.
Why are we not pushing?
That are they?
Rotina, how many times have you, as women's organizations, me included, how many times have we had those conversations?
Well, we are making strides. They might not be as aggressive as we might want to be, you and me, because you are a strong character. But at least we notice some tilts towards those strides, and that's commendable as well. But we are saying, as individuals, as women, and as a collective, yes, we understand that women are not a homogeneous group of people, but we are saying, as women, there are aspirations that are enshrined in our policies as Zimbabwe, that are also enshrined in international policies that are there. And we are saying, why don't we take opportunity? Why don't we take advantage of all the provisions that have been made towards us as women? And once we know the provisions that are there in our country as Zimbabwe, and the provisions that are there internationally.
Yes.
It means we already have gaps which we can utilize as individuals. And again, I'll zero in on the issues of gender-based violence. You know me,
Yes.
and I'll say, okay, as women,
yes,
we do have provisions that are in the law. We do have provisions at the international arena that we need to take a hold to and a stand to. And once we understand that the law protects us, the policy protects us, it means we can go forward in emancipating ourselves, to speak in other words.
And I want to now look at the issue of the corporate world, also still challenging ourselves as women. I remember one time I got a call from my friend. She had received a call from some international organization. They actually wanted women who can be like, almost like the Forbes list, where you're saying women who've got this net worth in a country. So she's like, we're looking for 2-3 names from Zimbabwe. When it came to South Africa, you know, we could come up with all these names because we already know them. And you know, for Zim, we could come up with, for us, we're like, okay, Divine Lukula. And then when it came to now thinking of the other names, we could think of CEOs of companies. But women that we can then say their net worth is up there. And eventually we discovered the women are actually there, but women don't want to be known. So, you know, sometimes we are not out there because sometimes we also don't want to be known that this is what we are doing, because it doesn't mean we don't have women who can compete at the same level as those powerful South African women that we already know when we're talking about somebody who's a millionaire. So we'll discuss that after the break, where we are saying sometimes as women, we also don't want to be out there and be known. I would rather feel comfortable and safe, and there's a lot of labeling as well that happens to us once you come out and you're known. Usually, you have a relationship with so and so, that's why you're doing well. And as a result, you find we confine ourselves in our own private spaces. Join us after the break. Welcome back. Our discussion continues, where today we are moving from our comfort zone as women and really challenging ourselves. It's time we are saying we want to look at each other. And if some say men to men, woman to woman, men to men, you know, let's look at each other and have those equal opportunities. What would be your reaction to the issue that I was talking about before we went for the break, where we're saying women's net worth? Sometimes as women, we're actually not even willing to declare what I am worth.
Yes, indeed, Tari, and it's quite unfortunate because we are looking for women mentors who can mentor our young girls, and we are looking at women who can inspire other women as well. But we find that we have so many women who are doing very great in Zimbabwe, very, very good, you know, and sometimes you're surprised. Okay, but they are in almost in hiding. We don't know about them, but you're saying, let's become each other's mentor as women. When there are issues to be discussed, issues of monetary influence, when we are talking about the country, let's also have some women coming forward to influence the gender budgeting that we are always calling for. And we want women who can turn the tide of fortune around to other women as well, so that at least we know with this caliber of women, we can turn things around. We can influence a lot of things. We can influence the policies that we want. We can influence the monetary policies. We can influence the gender budgeting processes to our advantage as well.
And I want really you to have a word of advice to women, because sometimes we are good at complaining. You know, I belong into this group of media women, and I remember there was a commission interviews that were being done, and the names were just put forward to say that there's a public inquiry or something that was happening. And you know, all of us were saying, how come there's only one woman and there are only 2 women? And if we are talking about a gender commission, why is it that there are 5 men? Until one woman in that group, female journalist, said, you guys, do you know these things people actually apply? How many of us actually applied to be in those positions. And people are like, we didn't see the adverts. And you're asking, where did the men see the adverts? So, you know, that issue where sometimes we tend to cry, but we're not presenting ourselves, where we, even on boards, we are crying. Why are we not on those boards? Yes, there are some where we could be, but also when opportunities are there, are we confident enough, or are we presenting ourselves to say, I'm putting in my CV? It's better I make noise to say, I put in my CV, I deserved an opportunity to be interviewed. If then I'm told you failed after the interview, then it's understandable. Than for me to start crying, but I never submitted my CV. As women, being assertive, just moving away from that corner, being in that ring that I talked about.
Indeed, yes. I think as women, let's be assertive enough. Let's grab opportunities. Let's be confident of ourselves, of the names that we have built over the years. Surely, we all have done something in life, and that something can put us on the pedestal of going to the next stage. So I think as women, when there are at least higher positions in the country, in the corporate world, everywhere, let's take a stand to say, I want to participate. I want my voice to be there. I want my name to be listed somewhere, you know. Aspiring for a higher post does not mean that you are not humble.
Yes.
Or does not mean that you are going out of the norm. But aspiring for a higher post also goes with self-actualization.
Exactly.
You're saying, I want to be named there. I want to be there. I think I can do a better job when I'm in that same position.
Exactly.
And we want the women around the country to actually understand kuti semudzimai munokwanisa kuita zviri kuitikawo munharaunda menyu. Tari munokwanisa kuva sabhuku, munokwanisa kuva chifi, munokwanisa kuva business woman wepamagrosa enyu muri kugara iwawo. Saka tiri kuti as women, let's come forward so that we can stand for other women who are in other vulnerable positions as well. And we can move together, like I've said, as a collective, we can make it.
Yeah, and even getting to a point where we can celebrate each other.
Yeah.
When we know that this institution has appointed a woman as a leader, what have we done? You know, we always see congratulatory messages as women. Why can't we get to such a position where I know Chipomtaza is Net One, Tel One CEO. I know Helliet Rushaya is acting at ZBC. But when she got that position, a man usually used to occupy that position. How many of us actually celebrated her to just say, congratulations, you are heading the nation's national broadcaster? How many of us were in a position to do that? We need that spirit of also just knowing I can celebrate another woman. And for men now, patriarchy, yes, it's still there. We challenge ourselves, but we still can't run away from the fact that when it comes to men, they try and trample us down. What would be your message to them to say, yes, we want to be in the ring with you there, but please do support us as well, and not continue trampling on us and calling us names, finding justification of why we are there as excuses.
Indeed, Tari, it's about respecting the dignity and worth of another person, recognizing that every individual has rights, the right to participation, the right to expression, the right to fully express who they want to be and where they want to be at a particular time. And it calls for us as both men and women to celebrate each other because we are existing together. We are here already, and we need to move forward together, clapping hands for each other.
Indeed, we need to be clapping hands for each other. So what would be your parting shot, particularly to women? I know a lot of men will be saying, you as women, really, were you saying that? This is not a backlash to us, but it's a challenge to us as women to say, I think we need to be aggressive enough so that we occupy those positions. Your message to fellow women.
Yes, to my fellow women, believe in yourself, believe you can do it, believe in the power within, and unleash it to greater heights.
Let's believe in the power within. If men can do it, we can do it. If they did it, we can also do it. Until we meet again next week, it's goodbye for now.